right, good morning. It's 7:03 on this Tuesday, December 1st. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. Yes, new month, first day of December. The sun is shining, but a little cold out there this morning. My car thermometer said 28 degrees, and I imagine that's just about right. It is below freezing, and even a little snow is left from last night. We are on the air, of course, for Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital, and Tracy Pope joins us live in studio today. Tracy is the Director of Community Services, and Tracy, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
And how are you?
I'm doing wonderful.
Did you have a good holiday weekend?
Yes, it was relaxing and wonderful, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. How about you?
I'm fine. Did you get Friday off as well?
I did take some PTO on Friday as well, yes, so that was very enjoyable.
You are not like some of these doctors who might be on call or who might have an emergency call. If you take a day off, you get the day off, don't you?
I hope so. Most of the time it works out that way.
All right. Well, we're here with have a little maybe a little levity on the beginning this morning, but a very serious subject today, and it is our pleasure again to have Dr. William Schaffner on the telephone. Dr. Schaffner is the professor of preventive medicine and infectious diseases for Vanderbilt University Medical Center, and of course, with Vanderbilt Wilson Hospital having the connection, he's kind of in our back door, or maybe the front door, and available to us by telephone here, and we've got all kind of questions for him this morning,
Absolutely. We're very fortunate to be part of the Vanderbilt health system here in Wilson County, and with that comes lots of resources, and especially during the pandemic that we are seeing, we're so fortunate to have Dr. Schaffner to lead and guide us through this uncertain time.
Well, we've got a lot of things to discuss this morning, and Dr. Schaffner, you are there. Good morning.
Morning, Tracy. Good to be with you always.
Well, it's good to have you. Doctors don't always get holidays, but did you have a fairly good Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving weekend?
I did. Thank you very much. It was diminished. We were very careful. We did not have the huge family around the table. We were very prudent. Thank you. But we enjoyed it. Had a lot of FaceTime with relatives and friends.
Well, let's get right to the subject this morning. The number of cases are rising throughout the nation. It has been stated that we're in our third wave. Dr. Schaffner, can you help explain the data?
Well, we are in a third wave, and throughout most of the country, unfortunately, and you can hear these doctors sigh all across the country, cases are going up and up and up, and all you have to do is watch the news, and you can see in some parts of the country, still not in ours, fortunately, intensive care units are full of patients, and even in some places, patients are backed up because they just don't have enough room. I'm afraid that people are tired of COVID. They have COVID fatigue and even some COVID disdain, I think. And they're going about their lives in a more carefree, or I might even say careless way, rather than in a careful way. And as a consequence, we're seeing spread. In our own state, the virus has gone during the course of the summer from cities to suburbs, and it's now in our rural areas. So it's spreading everywhere in a rather uninhibited fashion. And with all the travel over Thanksgiving, I'm afraid we're waiting for a surge upon a surge. So we're all kind of buckled down, waiting for a serious several weeks now before Christmas.
You sound like you might be kind of expecting the worst here after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we certainly are concerned. There was less travel than usual over Thanksgiving. That's good, but there still was a lot. And you know, when families get together, they relax, take off their masks, they're indoors for prolonged periods of time, close to each other. And that's exactly the environment in which, unfortunately, the virus can be transmitted. I've heard people say to me, but Dr. Schaffner, none of us were sick, so we thought it was okay. Well, this virus can be transmitted even though you don't have any symptoms. So we don't know who's infected and who isn't. And therefore, I'm afraid that at least some of those Thanksgiving tables the virus was present and spread around the room?
Well, I guess time will tell. We anxiously await. Let me ask you, what changes at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital have been made in preparation for an influx of COVID-19 positive patients?
Yeah, so that we have been preparing for the pandemic from the beginning, and we have converted several rooms into a new unit, and just in preparation for uncertainty and what might happen. So we're constantly evaluating and assessing and just preparing. And once again, we're part of the Vanderbilt health system, so it's not like we are an independent standalone hospital facility. We rely on the Vanderbilt downtown as they do us. So patients sometimes are transferred downtown if they need a higher acuity of care. And then also the opposite, we sometimes have more space than the Vanderbilt Adult Hospital might have. So they would transfer, the less acuity patients to our hospital as well. So we're very fortunate that we do have leaders that are thinking and preparing ahead and just getting prepared.
Anything you want to add to that, Dr. Schaffner?
Well, Coleman, I'd like to add a little footnote, but it's a little bit of good news. There's light at the end of the tunnel. We all have heard that these vaccines are about to be approved. We certainly hope that's the case. And throughout the Vanderbilt hospital system, including Wilson County, we are preparing to deliver the vaccine. It likely will first be directed at healthcare providers who take care of patients with COVID, first responders, and people who are providing care in nursing homes, for example. But after that, then things will open up to other patient populations. We'll see what the prioritization list is from the CDC, but we're preparing to deliver the vaccines. And you have to have good logistics and have people prepared to do that. We're on it.
Well, let me ask, what should a person do if they have had close contact with a COVID positive patient?
Well, if they have had close contact, then they should quarantine themselves and immediately call or email their healthcare provider and have a discussion about whether testing is appropriate, and have that healthcare provider assess whether that is a serious close contact that requires quarantine or not.
I'm wondering what would determine a serious close contact.
Well, there are kind of standard definitions
Okay.
that CDC and our state health department use. It has to do with, were you within 6 feet for a total of 15 minutes in an enclosed space, and things such as that.
Mm-hmm. Well, with a recent study released on November 10th by Vanderbilt's Department of Health, policies show that in 67 Tennessee counties that have not focused on masking effort, the death rate from COVID is double than those counties that have. Can you talk about the recommendations for wearing masks?
Well, the data that you've just mentioned go hand in hand with the notion that this virus is now spreading in our rural counties, where masking is often not done. Masks are absolutely fundamental to the control of this virus. They work in two ways. They protect others should you be infected, but now there are even more data to suggest that they also protect the person who's wearing the mask. Of course, that makes sense. I recognize that they're a little dorky, and some ladies tell me they mess up their makeup, and they're unusual, of course. We don't wear masks conventionally here in the United States the way they do in some Asian countries, but they're absolutely fundamental. And so I think if you're leaving your home, you go out the front door, and you intend to interact with anybody else during the day, wear a mask. That's the single most important thing all of us can do to try to, as we say, flatten the curve and reduce the transmission of this virus to ourselves and to others.
Okay, our program presented by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. We have Tracy Pope here in studio, and on the phone with us again, Dr. William Schaffner, who's professor of preventive medicine and infectious diseases at Vanderbilt University Medical Center. We're going to take a break right here and back with more with Tracy and Dr. Schaffner in a moment here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
Into 7:13, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks, Absolute Kubota and Rental. Lamprey, quality tractor implements, including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty. Extremely durable and well-built. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's on the increase out here, I-40 eastbound, especially here up by Charlotte Pike. Behind it, you got all the traffic coming in from Kingston Springs. Out of Dixon County is positive right now on I-40 as you make your way through that small section of Cheatham County. Traffic still not too bad, actually on 65 up through Brentwood and Franklin. Hey, to cater your next holiday party coming up, call Princess Hot Chicken or simply go online, princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
71 degrees all the way.
73 degrees, please.
So what's your perfect degree of comfort? We'll help you find it with professional Rheem HVAC service that'll keep your home comfy year-round, save on energy costs, and may qualify for utility rebates and tax credits. So enjoy a new degree of comfort.
72 degrees, and I'm good to go.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Get excited for Christmas as you take a stroll through Fiddler's Grove Historic Village and see the buildings come to life with animated Christmas decorations. Bring your friends and family to enjoy this safe outdoor adventure. CDC guidelines are being followed. Masks encouraged. Hand sanitizing available throughout the walk. Tours available Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now through December 19th. More details at fiddlersgrovetennessee.com. For the love of Tennessee, visit Wilson County and travel safe.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. And again, our program presented each Tuesday at this time by Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. And on the first and third Tuesdays, Tracy Pope always gets us a medical professional to have dialogue with. And that is our situation this morning with Dr. William Schaffner on the phone. Now, we were talking earlier about intensive care and intensive care units, a fear that maybe they would be overloaded and this sort of thing. Could we talk for a minute about how Vanderbilt here in Lebanon and Nashville is equipped and what you do in case there's pretty much of an overrun on the need for ICU?
Well, what we've been able to do is, in both institutions, is look at other beds outside the intensive care unit that can be converted into intensive care unit beds. And we've actually here at Vanderbilt Central, if you will, actually created a whole series of more beds that can be used for intensive care units. So we have a degree of flexibility. We have the designated intensive care unit beds, but we can convert some of the others in times of stress to that. And we have enough personnel who are well trained to do this so we can cover that. It's not infinite, but there is flexibility, and we're all ready to respond.
All right, and Tracy, you agree with? I mean,
Absolutely.
That's the way it is here.
Yes, absolutely. And like we said before, we have areas of the hospital that we are evaluating and opening up. We have an additional step-down unit here at Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital that is ready and being prepared to open to add additional beds and additional capacity when needed.
Okay, several months ago, we discussed the COVID-19 predictive model for Tennessee the Vanderbilt team developed. What does that look like now, Dr. Schaffner?
Well, it looks just as what I've said because I've looked at that model myself, and that's helped all of us look ahead. it looks as though we are going to be in for a tough month or two going forward. All of the travel around Thanksgiving and the anticipated travel around the religious and New Year's holidays themselves have, in the past, those kinds of circumstances on July 4th and Memorial Day have resulted in subsequent surges of cases. So we're prepared for the worst, hoping for the best, but you've got to prepare for a serious winter from the point of view of medical care.
All right, we did, of course, just finish Thanksgiving holiday. Any recommendations as we enter the Christmas season?
Well, they'll be very standard. Think very carefully. This year is the COVID year. Next year, we hope things will be much better, but this year, let's all understand that we need to modify what we usually do. Keep the group gatherings as small as possible, as short as possible. Please wear your masks. Watch the social distancing. Do as little travel as possible. That sounds kind of sad in a way, but it's very important. Those are contributions all of us can make to making our communities safer from COVID.
Well, let me interject this here. If we find out here in the next week or 10 days, maybe we have really an increase in cases, and we think it is because of people doing a lot of traveling and visiting during Thanksgiving, would that maybe be would people really take that to heart and be much more careful Christmas and New Year's?
Coleman, one would hope, but we did that experiment around Memorial Day and July 4th, and it didn't seem to inhibit travel nearly as much as we wanted around Thanksgiving. There are some people who just have COVID fatigue and would like to put it aside and go back to their traditional ways of doing things. And we just try to accentuate the positives, try to keep persuading them that this is a transient year. It's inconvenient to be sure, but if we all help each other by being careful and restrictive, then next year is likely to be back to, if not normal, certainly near normal.
Well, we are months into the pandemic. How are the treatments working?
Well, the treatments are working okay. We're much better at understanding how this virus actually makes the body sick, and so we can anticipate that. And as a consequence, and we have some new drugs. As a consequence, our death rates have come down. We're better at getting people out of the intensive care unit and back functioning in life. But nobody wants COVID, because some patients who have COVID, even though they recover from their acute illness, have downstream effects. They're called the long haulers. They have fatigue, headaches. There's some cardiac, some heart problems that can occur. And so this is not a fun virus to have by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, we've heard, I think all of us probably know some people who said it sure was no fun. It's one of the worst things that ever happened to me. I've heard this more than once, and I don't think anybody really wants it, although it does affect people differently. But those who have really had a tough time have really, I think, described it well and probably scared some of the rest of us into maybe being a little bit more careful. Well, let's change and talk about vaccines. We're hearing more and more about vaccines, different companies working on vaccinations, Pfizer and Moderna. Can you give us a timeline?
Yeah, well, that makes me smile because that's the light at the end of the tunnel, right? We anticipate that by the middle of December, let's all cross our fingers, the Food and Drug Administration will have provided what's called an emergency use authorization. They've given those two vaccines the green light, and then the CDC, in turn, will give us a priority list of who ought to be vaccinated, and that vaccine will start to be delivered across the country. The state health department, depending upon the nature of the vaccine, Pfizer and Moderna are a little bit different, will localize those vaccines, make sure they're delivered to the appropriate people, and we'll start vaccinating. And that's a good thing. But by the time average folks can get vaccinated, that will be weeks and months down the road. We can't vaccinate everybody in a week and a half, so it will take some time to have enough vaccine out there. Remember, it takes 2 doses, and then people will be called up. We'll have the mass media, newspapers and television, will announce who should now be ready to be vaccinated, and they can get in line and roll up their sleeves. And we will be encouraging people to get those vaccines.
Are plans being made for this now? Either one of you can respond. Tracy?
Let's let Dr. Schaffner. Yes, absolutely.
No, that's the state health department is asking all healthcare facilities and others to have really very detailed plans about who should get the vaccine first, second, third, etc. And that's people have been working on those plans for quite some time. Not only the logistics of actually handling and delivering the vaccines, but how to organize vaccination clinics and how to communicate all of that appropriately to the general public. So, as they used to say on radio back in the old days, stay tuned for more information.
Well, one thing I am wondering about if age is going to make any difference in who goes first. Has that been discussed?
Oh, absolutely. The advisory committee has been looking at all kinds of considerations, including equity, to make sure that disadvantaged populations, people of color, also are reached with the information, because those communities have been disproportionately affected by the virus itself, of course, and we want to make sure that everybody gets good information. And Coleman, yes, one of the categories, I'm not sure whether it'll be second or third, will be people aged 65 and older, and others who are younger who have underlying illnesses. Those are, of course, the categories of people who, if they get infected, are more likely to have severe disease and require hospitalization.
All right, we got a couple of more things I want to.
Well, I'd like to add just real quick. Yeah, as Dr. Schaffner said, I mean, logistically, there's so much to plan and think about, and that is what a lot of people are doing now. Not only receiving and handling and storing the vaccine, but as well as what Dr. Schaffner said about distribution. So there is just a lot of logistics that has to be planned and prepared just in the meantime while we are waiting to receive the upcoming vaccine.
All right, a couple of more things I hope we can get to here, and we've got about 3 minutes. But, of course, flu season's coming on us. How can one differentiate between flu symptoms and COVID symptoms?
You can't. The two look very much alike. But I have to tell you, Coleman, I'm whispering because the flu virus so far has been across the country, including right here in Middle Tennessee, very quiet. I was very concerned that we would have a twin-demic, flu plus COVID, but at least at the moment, the flu has been remarkably low throughout the entire country. So we hope it stays that way and doesn't complicate things this winter.
But no way to tell on at the beginning which one it is?
There really is very little that you can do to try to differentiate the two, and there's no single thing you can do other than testing, which will, of course, distinguish both.
Okay, with the rising cases, our school systems are suffering, and here, I guess, is the $64,000 question this morning, and that's suggestions for parents as they balance work, parenting, and education leaders and their families.
That's absolutely, I think, the question that I get the most, for which there's no easy answer. This is a terribly difficult time. We're all struggling with that. Obviously, we are all collaborating with our local school systems to do the best we can. In-person learning, virtual learning, and of course, that affects the ability of parents to go out and earn a living, because if the children have to be home, at least one parent or a relative has to be there to help them with their studies. It's a very difficult time. We hope fairly soon we'll have enough vaccine to actually vaccinate all the adults in schools. That will be a fantastic step forward, because it will provide a great deal of comfort, the opportunity for all those children to engage in all the benefits of schooling, and it will allow mom and dad to go about their work and stabilize the economics of the family.
Well, we've come to our last minute, Tracy. Anything you want to say as we wind up this morning?
I think that people should just know where to go to get information. You know, we've been doing this for months now, and information is constantly changing and updating. And we have great resources on our website, VanderbiltWilsonCountyHospital.com. And there's a banner with coronavirus and COVID updates. And, you know, if you have symptoms or if you're concerned, the first thing that you should do is contact your healthcare professional. And if you don't have one, then, you know, there are clinics available for new patients, and then always our emergency rooms are open 24/7. So don't wait too long to seek care. I think that's what a lot of friends and family members that we have seen just want to sort of ride through it, but sometimes you can wait, you know, a little too late. So just seek care when needed, and, you know, reach out if you're having trouble trying to figure out where to go or what to do. There are lots of primary care offices available for new patients. And, you know, like I said, our emergency rooms are well equipped 24/7 to handle your care.
All right. Well, thank you for being with us. Dr. Schaffner, again, thank you so much. You're very available, and we appreciate being with us today. Dr. William Schaffner.
My pleasure, Coleman and Tracy. Thank you.
All right. And
Thank
that's
you.
part one of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more. FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:30. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's all brought to you by Bates Ford, and they've got the lifetime brake pad guarantee. With the purchase of a brake service, replacement brake pads will be provided at no cost for as long as the customer owns a vehicle. Bates Ford, 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic's on the increase out here, I-40 eastbound, especially here up by Charlotte Pike. Behind it, you got all the traffic coming in from Kingston Springs. Out of Dixon County is positive right now on I-40 as you make your way through that small section of Cheatham County. Traffic's still not too bad, actually on 65 up through Brentwood and Franklin. Hey, to cater your next holiday party coming up, call Prince's Hot Chicken or simply go online, princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
Welcome to Hearthside Senior Living, Lebanon's living community designed for seniors to age in place, all within a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment. Beautiful retirement homes designed for an independent lifestyle with maintenance-free living. Hearthside Senior Living also continues the excellent tradition of assisted living for those seniors who need additional services. Hearthside Senior Living, an independent retirement community and assisted living community, all on one campus in the heart of Lebanon. Call 615-443-1994 for a tour.
Today's skies will gradually become more sunny with highs topping out in the mid-40s. For your Wednesday, we'll have plenty of sunshine and temperatures climbing to near 50 degrees. On Thursday, scattered rain showers are in the forecast, and I can't rule out a few snowflakes mixing in Thursday morning. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty. Professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. Day no auctions. That's look at your forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part two. It is a Tuesday morning, and Sean Dozier has shown up, and of course, he is here to talk about Hearthside Senior Living. Good morning.
Good morning. I've shown up. That's how you describe it. I've
Well.
shown up. I have shown up, and listen, I drove across town today, and the snow got, a little more as I came east.
Yeah.
So it's real pretty. Did y'all enjoy the snow yesterday?
Well, I don't know whether I ever enjoy snow or
Oh,
not.
come on. You don't like it? You don't like
I'm-
watching it just a little bit?
Well, yeah. I was watching to see if it's going to accumulate.
It didn't accumulate much, did it?
No, just a little on my car this morning. I got out and started the car, but unfortunately I locked the door on my way out. I had to stop the car because I was going back in
Right.
to comb my hair,
Right.
actually. It was one of them mornings. And both traffic lights was red, but I still got
You
here
got
on
here,
time.
yeah. Well, we enjoyed watching it yesterday at Hearthside, and the residents enjoyed watching it.
I'll bet. Yeah.
And we got to turn the fireplace on today. It's a little chilly out there, so we'll turn the fireplace on today, and they'll enjoy sitting around the fireplace. And I heard your voice a minute ago in the commercial. It's a safe, comfortable, and Christian environment, and that's what we are. We're a assisted living right in the heart of Lebanon, and also an independent living community. We have 2 wonderful communities right there in the heart of Lebanon, and we do have rooms available in our assisted living. You know, for a long time we always stayed full, but this pandemic has sort of, I guess, hurt everybody a little bit. But if you're interested in an assisted living room, we've been getting more calls lately, and I think people are getting a little more interested in assisted living. So they can always call us at 615-443-1994, or they can go also to our website at hearthsideliving.com and see more information.
Well, I think you have a wealth of information on your website there, and for both the retirement and assisted living communities. But the vacancies are kind of few and far between in the retirement community.
They are. In fact, we have no vacancies right now in our independent living community, and that's a good sign that people are enjoying living there. And they, I tell you what, they got it made. I'd like to tell them
they got those $3 meals.
They got those $3 meals, and they have maintenance free living, as we like to say, and they have their lawn care taken care of, and they really do have a great community down there. They watch over each other. They take care of each other. They haven't been able to do a lot of events lately together, but they still watch after each other, and it's just a wonderful community.
And you
they do
talk to them, interact, and so on. I'm sure they do.
They really do. It's 30 homes down there, and it's really become a nice neighborhood.
Yeah. Well, how was Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was good. We had Crystal and Elaine cook a great Thanksgiving meal for the residents. We had 1 or 2 go out, but when they came back, of course, they had to stay quarantined. So most of them chose to stay in Hearthside and have a meal there, and they got to visit with their families on the porches. Right now, we don't have any COVID cases, so they can visit on the porches and have a couple of inside visits. So right now, we're doing those. But they had a good Thanksgiving. All in all, it wasn't bad. You know, when you can have Elaine and Crystal cook for you and have a great meal, that's not bad, is it? And then go back and take a nap. Hey,
there you go. Do you get many calls at 443-1994?
We do get a lot of calls at 443-1994. They can call us at 443-1994. They ask about all sorts of things. They ask about our assisted living, and then they also
most people that call you are interested in
they're interested in a room, and of course we have family members call that number all the time, and we have we have deliveries all the time. That front office stays busy. You know, Jan Presley, she's our front office and admissions person. I don't think you've met her. She came out here one time and while you were on vacation and did a spot for us, but she does a great job kind of keeping that whole area going and keeping our front office going, keeping our admissions going. So I appreciate her.
Well, anything else you want before we get to the Hearthside Hello?
No, just we're going to have a great Christmas season, even though it's a little different this year. It was encouraging to hear Dr. Schaffner. He's always impressive, isn't he? I always think he's impressive, and good to hear about the vaccine coming on pretty soon. So hopefully we signed up with Walgreens. Walgreens is our provider. They're going to provide our vaccine when it's available. So our frontline workers will get it, and our residents will get it as well. So I'm hoping that'll happen very, very soon. And we're hoping to have a great holiday Christmas season, even though we're a little different this year. But we've got a lot of things planned inside, and we hope to do a little bus tour with a couple of them in the next few weeks to go see the lights. So we're going to try to make the best of it over the next few weeks.
Hearthside Hello.
Hearthside Hello. We always end with a Hearthside Hello, and today I want to say hello to Beth Petty. She's with the Family Resource Center.
I know Beth.
You know Beth?
I know Beth.
Well, I'm going to see her today because as the president of the Kiwanis Club of Lebanon, I like to brag about that because I have to promote our club. We did a food drive yesterday, and all of our members brought. It was our service project day. We brought canned foods for her Family Resource Center. So I plan to see her today and wanted to give her a shout out.
Okay. Well, she does a fine job over there with the Lebanon Special School District.
She really
Been there
does
for a good while, and kind of a. She appreciates the
She
joke
really
and
does.
laughter.
She really does.
And carrying on.
A great lady.
Yeah, but takes the job very seriously too.
Yep.
All right. Hearthside hello to Beth.
Beth Petty, hello.
Sean, we haven't talked any football yet, and
no, we'll wait till Mike gets here. I want to see you show up in a couple
weeks.
weeks.
About Vanderbilt having the lady kicker.
Well, I mean, I have two girls, so anytime women.
Oh, it didn't bother me at all, but I saw something that said that's why he got fired because he was.
Oh no,
I don't really
think so.
I think that
it was kind of neat to see.
0-8 record had a lot more to it.
When you lose 41 to what 0?
Nothing.
I mean, that pretty much sums it up, Coleman. I'm sorry. Maybe you'll have who do you think they'll get?
Oh, I don't know.
Who do you?
Who's going to be a whole lot better than him? But
yeah.
It's a coach's graveyard.
I grew up going to Vanderbilt games. My dad used to take me back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And that was our Saturday thing. We would go park over at Centennial Park and then go watch the football games. And they were exciting. It was crowded back then. It was, I don't know if they had any better record, but.
Whit Taylor was the quarterback and then Kirk Page.
Yeah.
You remember them?
I remember them. It was a fun time and we had great memories there, but now it's just it's kind of gone downhill, Coleman.
They're gonna try. Well, listen, thanks for being.
Thank you very much. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.
Great, Sean Dozier, Executive Director for Hearthside Senior Living, 215 Castle Heights Avenue North. We are 20 and a half before the hour, and my guest is here this morning, all the way from Watertown, I think. Edie Pope. Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well, and
Good.
I don't live far from here, so it's not a big deal unless there's 6 inches of snow or something, and then it's a little bit bigger deal. But no, everything is fine, and we're glad to have you here. Tell us a little bit about you and Watertown High and what's going on.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. I teach theater at Watertown High School. That is a new department that was created last year. Okay. So this is my second year there. And, last year was part of a year. But I'm loving being in Watertown.
Well, let me just interrupt right here because
Yes.
Anytime we got somebody, you sound like you hadn't been at Watertown very long. Where
Right.
have you been? I don't know your background a little bit.
Oh, well, I originally grew up in Illinois, but I've lived in Murfreesboro for many years now.
Okay.
And I raised a daughter there. And I still live there. But the drive to Watertown is easy and pleasant and beautiful. And this morning I drove most of the same route to get here, and it's just gorgeous on Canesville Pike this morning.
Yeah. Okay. Good. How did you get to be a theater teacher and do drama and this kind of thing?
Well, it all started in 1972 when I was 7 years old. I really was in my first play when I was in the second grade, and it was by audition at the high school, and it was terrifying. And the popular girls who always got everything auditioned, and so I just went to fill a slot. But when I was cast, I had the fever, and I spent all of my life with the fever. My favorite is musical theater. I have done most of my work in music as an adult and enjoyed that very much. I love the crossover between music and theater to create musical theater. That's where my heart is.
Well, what brought you to Watertown High?
Watertown High School has an excellent reputation. It's well known in the area. And being there, after I went to visit, I liked, frankly, the atmosphere. Mm-hmm. The environment is just amazing there. The administrators are unparalleled. I've never worked with nicer people than the teachers who are my coworkers. The students are very nice to work with, very interested. They want to learn, they want to grow, and what else could a high school teacher ever ask for?
Yeah. So what do you actually do? What's your day like? I mean, do you in a classroom setting and class after class, or I'm just wondering what is your situation? Is it different from what we would say normal teaching, maybe?
No. I do have a classroom setting. I have class after class all day, and I have rehearsals after school and in the evenings. We do class activities that may resemble rehearsals, but the way we've structured the program at Watertown High School is the entire school is welcome and able to be involved in productions, which means that we have to do most of our work outside of class time. But during class, my students are learning skills And especially the advanced classes are actually doing hands-on work during class time, during production season for whatever the upcoming production is.
All right, we need to go to a break in a couple of minutes or less. You've got a production coming up. And
I
that's
do.
part of your reason for being here. So
It is.
go ahead and tell us about that and when it's going to be, how people can participate.
This Saturday in Watertown, there is a Watertown Christmas. It's a kickoff event for the entire community, and the Watertown High School Purple Tiger Theater is very proud to be a part of that. We'll be presenting a Troubadourian Christmas, which will be a character walk at 2 o'clock before the parade at 3, and again at 4 o'clock before the tree lighting at 5.
So now there's an admission charge or donation recommendation or something here, right?
It is not a ticketed event. We're proud to be partnering with the Chamber of Commerce to be involved in the downtown event for the entire day. But of course, donations will be welcome. We'll have 9 characters stationed throughout the town along the parade route, around the square in the downtown area, and donations will be accepted at any of those sites.
To do what you do, you need a little extra funding from time to time, I guess, and this is one way a creative way to come up with that.
Every minute of every day.
Edie Pope is my guest, Watertown High School. We're going to take a break right here. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And it's now 7:44. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank Bates Ford, and they've got the Works Vehicle Checkup, $49.95, 5-course oil, tax and disposal, tire rotation, and safety check. They'll make sure your vehicle is ready for any road. They're located at 1673 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's busy, but it's not too unusual here to see that on 65 southbound at Trinity Lane. They're moving that wreck at Westchester and Dickerson Pike. Traffic's on the increase out here Bell Road as you make your way towards the interstate. Over in Hermitage, traffic still looking pretty decent right now through Brentwood, Franklin on 65 going northbound. Hey, to cater your next holiday party coming up, call Prince's Hot Chicken or simply go online, princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck for your on-time traffic.
Vanderbilt Health is honored to announce the newest addition to our family of hospitals, Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital in Lebanon. This hospital will provide care for Wilson County residents with the goal of improving the health and well-being of our newest community. Hospitals are for healing, new life, and recovery. They're places of innovation and learning. At the end of the day, hospitals are all about one thing: community. Thank you for welcoming us into yours. Let's do great things together.
The 2020 Titans have all grown up together. They've had a taste of success in the playoffs, and they're back with Derrick Henry.
Henry 20, Henry 10.
Ryan Tannehill at quarterback.
Tannehill keeping around right end, driving, he's in.
A stout defense.
Titan ball.
And a head coach in Mike Vrabel who's ready to lead them.
Brought to you by Steve Lowe Plumbing and the Jewelers.
LHS, Cumberland University, and the Tennessee Titans. The winning teams are on WANT 98.9.
The Dancing Lights of Christmas is back for their 11th annual celebration of the magical Christmas season at the Wilson County Fairgrounds. For just $25 per vehicle, you will experience the dazzling sights and sounds of over 2 million lights synchronized to some rockin' Christmas tunes without ever leaving the safety and comfort of your own vehicle. The Dancing Lights of Christmas, 5 p.m. nightly, November 13th through January 3rd. Don't forget to visit Mistletoe Merchant's holiday shopping event with over 100 merchants showcasing their one-of-a-kind items, December 4th through December 6th. Attend both events and get discount tickets.
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. Our thanks to Edie Pope for making it this morning. Now, you teacher at Watertown, the drama department, you started this last year.
Yes.
And you didn't have a complete year last year.
Correct.
Because after, middle of March or so, maybe before that.
March the 2nd, when the tornado hit.
Everybody remembers that date, I think. Well, how was it to get up again? I mean, obviously you've had experience. You've
Yes.
been in theater. You know how to do this sort of thing. But
Yes.
but starting from the where there's been nothing,
Yes.
making something out of nothing, sort of. It's kind of the assignment sounds like you were given.
Almost.
Oh,
Prior to the creation of the position and my arrival, there was an English teacher who just did a phenomenal job building a base.
oh, okay.
The principals and the English teacher had a few years to work on creating a base. And so last year when I got there, I had a core group, if you will,
Okay.
which was the best way to start. And
what were you able to do last year?
and I appreciate all that they did to make that available. I think it was in the best interest of our students and our entire school. So last year, we did a fall production that was honoring military throughout American history. That was written by a friend of mine in Rutherford County and his students some years ago. I think that was extraordinarily successful. I was very proud of the students who had never done anything like that before. And in the history of Watertown High School, there has never been a musical. So last spring, we had planned a huge scale musical from the 1950s and had just begun rehearsals when the tornado came and we didn't go back to school. So we're hoping that we'll be able to do that this spring. I'm concerned that that won't be an option because it does involve a lot of people, and we are having to be very, very careful. We want to remain in school. That's our first priority. And we want to be able to do productions of all types. So I don't know what we'll be able to do in the spring, but we'll see.
What about the physical facilities? You've got a new high school
It's
there.
beautiful.
Is it conducive for what you're and set up pretty well for what you're wanting to do?
You all should come and see our beautiful facility. I've never seen a prettier school. We've got a 7-year-old theater that seats 667 people with a gorgeous big purple curtain in the front. We call that a proscenium, and I love that my students are learning what we call all those things and how to use them. We'd love to show them off. I like to show off my students. I think they're talented, they're interested, and that's the way to build productive adults. That's why it's so important for us to have productions, so that it will help create better and better citizens. It's going to help you when you go to Hearthside.
Sean Dozier, appreciate that. Well, so you really you've got a good the setting is fine. You've got willing participants. It's
Everything's
just a matter of
perfect.
being able to come through with it.
That's right.
And COVID is having a lot to do with that right now.
It's exceptionally complicating. We have been very careful and especially creative. I try to do everything that I can as creatively as possible, but this year, nobody has an option. We have to be creative about everything we do, and we've spent hours, months, creating an opportunity for our students to be able to perform, because some schools were able to kind of recreate or complete what they had started last spring. We were not in a position to do that. We have an exceedingly small high school, and while that's an advantage, sometimes it's a disadvantage. We lost so many of our students who were in the production last spring that we weren't able to do that musical this fall. So I assembled a little team, and we've come up with a project called a character walk. We've named it a Watertown Troubadourian Christmas. So this Saturday at 2:00, I'll have 9 students who are stationed throughout the downtown area. There's maps available. They're color-coded. They're absolutely fantastic. Each student will be reenacting, if you will, a figure from Watertown's history, located in historical areas. So you can grab a map and see any student in any order, beginning at 2:00, again at 4:00. Each student will present the life and times, if you will, of the historical figure they're representing for around 5 or 6 minutes, and then you can go to another character and hear what they have to say. They'll all be in period costumes. They're representing decades from 1814 to 1980s.
Really?
Really?
Now, you really piqued my curiosity here.
Good.
Who are some, you've got nine, did you say nine?
I do.
9 different characters over that period of time.
Right.
And we're talking about a little less than 200 years.
Right.
Who are some of the people whose characters they're going to be?
Some of the people are Josie, who is the daughter of 2 former slaves and was presumably the favorite student of W.E.B. Du Bois when he lived in the Watertown area teaching school. W.E.B. Du Bois is a prolific author. He was one of the founders of the NAACP and lived and taught in Watertown, establishing the Wheeler School there. Other characters will be Margaret Hawthorne, who is the niece of Nathaniel Hawthorne, who was the author of The Scarlet Letter.
Yeah.
Yes, she and her family lived in Watertown. Immediately after her father died, her mother went there and opened a boarding house. So she'll be one of our characters. Nancy Turner Waters, who is the mother of Wilson Waters, will be one of our characters. Wilson Waters founded Watertown, and it's named after him.
Yeah, and we might interject right quick. Those people who think Watertown's named because of water, it's not. It's a family name, Waters.
It's absolutely a family name. Let's see, who else is going to be there? Minnie Janelle Wood Bobo. So Janelle Wood was the daughter of Tom Wood, who was one of Watertown's first grocers. He had a greengrocer. Not being from Tennessee, I've introduced that term to my students this year. He was a greengrocer in Watertown around the turn of the century.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You want to hear the rest of them?
I do.
All righty. Lowell Bogle, who was a local author and historian. Edsel Floyd, who was nicknamed Mr. Watertown and who was the voice of the Purple Tigers for decades. Geraldine Hopkins Forrester, who was the wife of G. Nelson Forrester, will be telling us about Mr. Forrester, who was an attorney. He grew up in Watertown, opened a law practice in Tullahoma, and worked for children's rights, higher education, establishing Motlow State Community College in that area.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Sam Sullins, who was a local barber. Let's see, I think that's my 9 for this year. This is going really well. The students love it. The community loves it.
Did you have any trouble finding the right person to represent the one that you're doing?
Not a bit.
Really?
That's a miracle. And we were able to customize as we needed to because this has all been written by my department, the theater department, and friends of the department. A couple of teachers in the building have helped tremendously.
Well,
and
there's 2 of those that I knew quite well. Well,
yes.
I don't know how I'd say I knew Mr. Lowell Bogle, maybe not all that well, but
right.
Actually he had to do with measuring crops at one time. And I worked doing that one summer, and I guess he was my ultimate boss there. But anyway, Mr. Bogle was quite a character. And of course, Edsel Floyd, if you've lived any length of time and been around Watertown, you know who Edsel Floyd was.
That's right.
Yeah.
We love working with the Chamber of Commerce. This is going to be an annual event on our Christmas Parade Day. We're hoping that we'll be able to do it in the future on Christmas Train Day when the train comes to Watertown. Next year, we're already planning an expansion to 12 characters. And we're proud to be a part of the event that will feature all of the downtown businesses on this Saturday, December 5th.
Well, if anybody's interested in genealogy and history and these people that you have mentioned
right.
here, there's a lot, and I guess hopefully time will permit someone to make the rounds and see hopefully all 9 of these, if not in the first hour, during the second.
It should be easy. If you don't see everyone that you wanted to see at 2 o'clock, then immediately following the parade, you can see the people that you missed.
So each one of these people, we're talking about 9 people.
That's right.
Who are going to be imitating being for
Right.
a while, 5 minutes or so, that person in history.
That's right.
And so you make your rounds, you hear their spiel, so
Yes.
to speak. Now, an opportunity to make a contribution at the same time.
Yes. Feel free to do so.
So, well, how will you do that? Do you have a $20 bill or something?
Absolutely. $2 bill, $20 bill, $100 bill. We like bills. There'll be an opportunity at each character. So each character will have a handler, kind of, another student who's there to help facilitate all of the things out of character so that our actors never have to break character.
Well, hopefully this is going to go right. If you anticipated everything that can go wrong and got a plan in case it does.
Of course. And then there'll be the things that I haven't anticipated, and we'll play that along as it goes. That's live performing.
Yeah. But this is something different. I don't know that I've ever heard of this being tried in Watertown at least before. And you evidently are a pretty creative person yourself to come up with this. And I'll bet you the students are just really thrilled.
I think we are all proud and happy and mostly just thankful to have the opportunity to create a performance. I think this is the only way that we were going to be able to do it. We'll be able to socially distance. We'll be outside. And it makes it flexible. We don't know who will be quarantined by Saturday, you know.
Right. Well, we're out of time here, but Edie Pope, thanks so much for coming by this morning, and I hope you have a great event and a great year, and we just appreciate you coming and telling us about
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here. I'm so proud of my students, my school. I'm looking forward to meeting many more Wilson Countyans on Saturday.
All right. That is it for Tuesday. I hope you'll join us tomorrow for the Wednesday edition, and until then, I wish you a terrific day.